Hello, this is a homily for the 27th Sunday of the year, and these readings, as you know, in ordinary time, we're learning a lot about how to live the Catholic life, and what we find today is that this is a lesson in the fact that we quite often have to grit our teeth and bear things so that we don't simply, without thinking, join the victim culture. There are things that are going to be unpleasant and unfortunate, and we just need to deal with them in some kind of solid fashion without getting wildly hysterical about, oh, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. I don't want to build my identity around being a victim. I want to build my identity around being a follower of Jesus Christ. And so today these readings go very much in that direction. First of all, we have the reading from the prophet Habakkuk, very short book, very short reading. How long, O Lord, I cry for help and you do not listen. Yeah, who hasn't had that experience? The point of the matter is, there's nothing wrong with our relationship with God. God is simply dealing with us in a way that advances us to greater sanctity. I cry out to you violence and you do not intervene. Why do you let me see ruin? Why must I look at misery? Well, actually, ruin and misery are certainly part of the human condition. Not desirable, not something we promote, but certainly there quite often, and more often than we would like to admit. Then the Lord answered me, he says. So in the middle of this sad, almost self-pitying style of writing, the Lord answered me and said, write down the vision clearly so that one can read it readily. In other words, it's there, held in reserve, so that when I get down and depressed again, I can read the vision again. And in this case, the vision would be the whole of the Old and New Testament. For, he says, and this is the hope, this is the optimism, the vision still has its time. This is God now speaking. It presses on to fulfillment and it will not disappoint. If it delays, wait for it. In other words, this is helping us to understand and handle the immediate moment so that we are still followers of Christ in the middle of this moment. The psalm, if today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. In other words, don't ignore when God does in fact speak to you. There will be times when he appears not to be paying attention. It's not a valid assumption to make, but it appears that way because we want a certain kind of response, and if we don't get it, we're going to complain. I don't know who you complain to, but that's the point. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. We're always in his presence. So let's be filled with thanksgiving. Let's joyfully sing psalms to him. For he is our God, and everything hangs on that word God. We're not dealing with another human being who we can kind of psychoanalyze in this modern fashion. This is God, and I can't psychoanalyze him. I can just wait on him. And that's really the point of the gospel. The gospel says, he offers us various sayings, but then a parable. Who among you would say to your servant who's just come in from plowing the field, come here immediately and take your place at table? And that's the connection with the first reading and with the Psalms. We're dealing with God here, so we are servants. We're not going to change our status as servants. We are going to be still the one who serves, and we'll be like that until we die. So let us get used to the fact that we're not going to be, when we come in from some heavy work, and let's face it, plowing the field is hard work, we're not going to be told, oh, you poor thing, oh, do sit down, take the weight off your feet, let me lay a banquet out in front of you. If we're expecting that in religion, forget it. There are stages in the final stages of the spiritual growth, and we can find them in St. Teresa of Avila. But the initial stages where most of us are, and this would be right up to the fourth stage, we are not going to have bouquets of flowers thrown over us simply because we've done our job of plowing the field, which is what we were paid for in the first place. And so finally, basically, the master will say, prepare something for me to eat. In other words, the service continues inside the house of the Lord. And put on your apron and wait on me until I eat and drink. You may eat something and drink when I am finished. Is he grateful to that servant just because he did what he was commanded to do? Oh, whoopee, I said the divine office today. I'm a great guy. No, I'm actually doing my duty, which I'm told to do as an ordained member of the church. But in fact, lay people are encouraged to do it just as well. I loved my neighbor as myself. Do I want a medal for that? No, I'm just showing in practice that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And in fact, this was a Jewish instruction all the way through the Old Testament. So really and truly, we're being told to grit our teeth, for men anyway, man up a bit, and not realize or not think that being a victim is what my life is all about. No, I'm going to be victimized at certain points in my life. Yes, some people are going to be more victimized than I am. Some people are going to be less victimized than I am. But the whole point of life is to follow someone who is crucified. That's being a victim. Okay, I've had no experience which gets anywhere close to the crucifixion of the divine Lord. And so we simply have to say, the last line of the gospel, we are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do. Thank you.